Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bobby here, and let's queer up the USA view. Oregon lawmaker leaves GOP because of gay son, joins Democrats. An Oregon state representative is making headlines after announcing he is leaving the Republican Party and seeking re-election as a Democrat, citing his gay son and conservative attacks on LGBTQ books as reasons for the switch. Representative Cyrus Javadi, who serves Oregon's 32nd district, announced on his Substack page. His decision shifts the balance in the Oregon House to 37 Democrats out of 60 seats. Javadi said his move was about cutting through partisan BS and focus on governing. He wrote, quote, "I know many Republicans who still share my values, but the party apparatus is headed somewhere else entirely. It's not about governing, it's about burning things down. It's about isolating minority communities when it's politically convenient," end quote. Javadi pointed to Republican rejections of his proposals on children's Medicaid benefits and rural hospital funding, not because the policies were flawed, he said, but because helping him didn't fit the GOP's agenda. He also criticized Republican culture war battles, especially book bans in schools. He wrote, quote, "If outrage were a renewable resource, Oregon would power the grid with Republican Facebook comments alone," end quote. On the so-called book ban, Javadi said, quote, "The real issue was whether kids, gay kids like my son, Black kids, Muslim kids, could still find stories on the shelves that reflect their lives," end quote. For Javadi, the shift is about protecting free speech, minority rights, and practical governance. He concludes the post saying, quote, "Yes, I'm switching to the Democratic Party, not because Democrats are perfect, but they are acting like a governing party," end quote. No political party is perfect, and yes, that's true. The question is one party better than the other? And that becomes obvious when you really think about it. Alex will probably disagree with me on some of the issues here, but right now the Republicans are not really governing. They just want to post propaganda slogans onto their page, trigger outrage, and I mean, what's bad? What is bad about funding children's Medicare and rural hospitals? Mm-hmm. The rural area hospitals have been shutting down, collapsing really, after Trump has decided to remove millions of Medicare and, funnel that money straight to Elon Musk and, Jeff Bezos' pocket.
But, kudos to him for standing up for his family versus, his career. And many people don't do it nowadays. And, he is right. Kids need stories that that relate to them. And we're taking those away, and that makes them feel isolated, and that leads to, teen suicide and everything else. But this gentleman did the right thing for his family and also, for the state.
It's refreshing to see transparency like that.
Yes.
He's really there for the job to be done and not there just to self-promote or profit.
I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of party switchers. Even when they help, don't get me wrong, party switchers have helped the Democrats more than once. Remember, we got a 60 majority in 2009, but there's also a little bit of not necessarily giving the voters what they wanted. We had a person, an elected official down here, switch from the Dems to the Republicans. None of us were wild about it. That being said, my fear for him is he wanted to do these basic governing things. There's no promise the Democrats are going to do it because they're going to be well, that might mean raising taxes on our friends that give us money. Hopefully the Democrats will act better. I'm not saying the two parties are the same. As Lewis Black would say, there's one party of bad ideas and a party of no ideas. And I sometimes, unfortunately, feel like we're in that realm. But if the Oregon Democrats want to actually give kids Medicaid, awesome, they should do it. Let's do it, people.
Yeah, to the point. Look, I think Mr. Javadi did the right thing, especially since his Republican colleagues are probably going to try to put his gay son in conversion therapy.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other thing where with a lot of Republicans, they don't care about it until it affects them personally, and that's another thing that I'm always suspicious of.
I think that's both parties still.
But he didn't try to keep it hush either with his son. He protected his son, and I think that's important as a father, especially.
I feel you, but they were Obama didn't come out for gay marriage because one of his daughters was gay all of a sudden.
True.
So.
True. So that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.